Testing 1, 2, 3. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. The 3rd of February and a terrific start to the week. We are below $100,000. Everybody is crying into their cereal and coffee this morning. What went wrong? We're going to tell you what went wrong, and we're going to tell you why you are not to panic. We are not here to make you rich. We're here to try and stop you from becoming poor. And that is when you capitulate and sell. Do not sell to Michael Saylor. Do not sell to BlackRock. Do not sell to Bhutan or El Salvador. This is not the time to panic. This too shall pass. And we have a lot to get through. We're going to go through the tariffs, the sub $100,000 Bitcoin. We're going to go through Sol. We're going to go through Grayscale and Doge. We're going to go through AI. We're going to go through alts. We've got it all. We've got the X-Files. It is, of course, a Monday, which means we look at the charts, and we have a lot of charts to look at today. We are going to be looking at the liquidations. We're going to look at the Bitcoin Solana chart. We're going to look at Bitcoin dominance. We're going to look at the DXY. We're even going to look at the Canadian dollar versus the US dollar, which is a world first for Crypto Warehouse. We don't normally look at stuff like that, but that is what we are going to do today. Now, before we begin, just a very quick one, okay? Do you like the screen up here, Crypto Warehouse? First of all, if this is your first rodeo, do not panic. You're going to be seeing a lot of people on the internet telling you that the bull run is over, telling you that we've put the top in, and that's it. We've finished, okay? There are people out there that like to make clickbaity titles or videos that you click on and they'll worry you, you know. Never in the history of crypto have we topped in January or February. Never in the history of crypto have we looked like this. Could we still have a left-aligned bull run? Maybe May, absolutely. Certainly, definitely November. So don't listen to them. This is based on macro news, which we're going to go through. Don't panic. And whatever you do, do not sell your Bitcoin, not financial advice. Now, if you do hold alts, they will be bleeding all over the floor. Some alts, I imagine, are down 50, 60%. Don't panic, okay? If you want to sell, or if you were 50, 60% up a few days ago, a few weeks ago, and you didn't take profits, then don't sell at a loss today. Hold on. This might take another 4 to 6 weeks to flush out if we don't see an end to the trade wars. But we're going to talk about that in a minute. So first of all, if you are new here, don't panic. This isn't a massive correction. I think it's a 16% correction so far. And if we go down a little bit further to where we expect it to go, it could be a 25, 30% correction. They are still natural for the Bitcoin cycle. So do not panic. Do not worry. We are here for you. You do not need to start thinking about applying for a job at McDonald's. The markets then. Anyone would think we have gone to $30,000 or $40,000. We're at $95,500. $95,500 for Bitcoin. Ethereum is $2,600. Again, Bitcoin, we're only really $10,000 off all-time highs. Let's put things into perspective. A 10% stroke 12% move for Bitcoin, and we are back, okay? We haven't come down that far yet. Ethereum has taken a hammering. XRP has taken a hammering. BNB is below $600. Dog with hat. Trashcoin is down 16%. Cardano 22%. So a lot of coins have been absolutely trashed. There are a few green shoots. Mantra, the coin that I won't mention, Hype, Dexy, they are all up a little bit. Losers, again, in this bull run, when we have these corrections, what coins can you pick up on the cheap that you like as a project? Don't just buy the, don't just buy the top 3 or 4 coins that have lost. Which coins in the bottom here are you a massive fan of? Do you like Filecoin? Boring, but again, interesting below 2 billion. Do you like Arbitrum? Do you like Arweave? Arweave, decent layer 2. Down here, you've got lots of meme coins. You've got lots of gaming tokens as well. WorldCoin at 122. WorldCoin at 122. I love to see that because I'm not a fan. Pyth, again, we like Python here. We don't own an awful lot of it. We like it. Cardano is in the bottom losers. There's a lot of 20% plus losers. You are probably really hurting, okay? Don't. This is very reminiscent of what happened last year when we wicked down to 49,000. We wicked to 49,000. Everybody was in a panic. People were calling crypto a Ponzi and a scam, and everything was bad, okay? We're not there, okay? We're not there. This could carry on for another while, but again, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it too much. It's not the end of the world. We're going to get through some X-Files then before we get on to talking about the charts. What's in the news? Let's see if anything is in the news. So this is a comparison of who is holding what and who is selling, who is buying. I've said this in a tweet today. If you're selling your Bitcoin whilst Michael Saylor, BlackRock, El Salvador, Bhutan, and whoever else are buying and you're selling, are you right or are you wrong? Why are some of the larger organizations in the world buying Bitcoin? Why are there 6 nation states looking to buy Bitcoin? Why are there 13 different American states in various different stages of adopting Bitcoin to its reserve? Why are they doing all of that while you are thinking about selling? The Bitcoin whales are buying your Bitcoin, okay? That is fundamental to the mindset that lots of people have when they see red days. I need to get out. I'll sell before it gets worse. It could very well get worse. It doesn't mean that you should sell. Ride it out. We're now, which is the Jupiter CEO, we're going to see a world where potentially every idea, every person, every community has their own coin. Everything you know about economics is going to be changed. This is a nonsense. Okay, it's a nonsense. There is a story from, it might have been China. It might have been China, where they allowed their citizens to create their own coins. And what they found was their citizens spent so much time making their own coins, they didn't actually make anything productive. They stopped making, hooves. They stopped making nails. They stopped making leather. They tried to trade their own currencies. It's not based on anything, okay? Their own coin needs to have a value, okay? So when you see stuff like this, remember what we say. When are NFTs too many NFTs? When are there too many meme coins? When are there too many coins in general? It's a nonsense, okay? Yes, you are going to get coins that are launched by communities, fan coins, Taylor Swift coins, Iron Maiden coins. You are going to get these things. But do they really have inherent value? No, not unless they give access to something or other. But if they do that, why don't they just launch an NFT collection instead of launching coins? Again, a gentle reminder that while you are thinking about selling your Bitcoin, this is inflation adjusted, by the way. While you are thinking about selling your Bitcoin, Bitcoin has had the greatest launch of any ETF the world has ever seen. And not only that, Eric Balchunas has said that this is never going to happen again. Now, they're bold words because we all know, never say never. But I would argue that you're going to have to wait a long time before we have another ETF launch as crazy as Bitcoin. Unless, of course, Doge comes along and wipes the floor with it, but I doubt that very, very much. A few good mornings, by the way. I haven't said good morning to some people. Velvet Rope, Danny is here, KB is here, Hidden Agendas, Mags are all here. You heroes of the hour, we are getting absolutely mauled, and you're still here. Hats off to you. You are the heroes. I am not here. I'm just here to report the news. Other bits of news, Kronos has connected up to Layer 0. What does that mean? It means that people will be able to buy dApps to allow Kronos to connect to 115 different blockchains. Although by the end of the day, there might not be 115 blockchains left. You never know. You never know. Packer is not going to be happy with me. I've coughed twice already. Right then. Matthew Highland. I'm bearish on Sol memes. I'm bullish on non-Sol memes. He is big on Doge and Pepe. The dilution will continue hitting Sol memes, and it would be the last chain I would want to buy a launcher meme on. The Sol meme reckoning is here. Probably will have some winners, but low odds. The issue is that if you have too many meme coins on a chain, nobody knows which ones to buy, and they all just end up getting nowhere. So again, stay to your major coins. Don't look at getting too many meme coins. Doge has gone down 21% in the last 7 days, ranking as the top 10's biggest loser. I guarantee you now, if we look at Doge, it will be down a lot more than 21%. This was 9:30 yesterday evening. We're all down. We're all down right now. And this is the state of play as far as being down is concerned. These are the liquidation charts. Why does it default to an hour? I mean, CoinGlass, make it 24 hours. Okay. $2.3 billion. Is that right? $2.3 billion of liquidations in the last 24 hours. The majority of which are longs. Now, we said this last week. In fact, we said on Friday not to leverage because, very simply put, it was the month end going into the weekend. Leverage is never a good idea anyway, but we had the month end close. Now, had you kept your leverage position open on Friday going into Sunday, you've been wrecked. There are a plethora of people who have been wrecked. I think 431,000 traders had been liquidated in the last 24 hours. It's a bloodbath. That's what it's called. It's called a bloodbath. Everything is red, but avoiding leverage and buying spot, especially if you're new to crypto, is the way forward. Holding Bitcoin is the way forward. The liquidations that we've seen are people who get caught out. And it's a little bit like a game of roulette. You've got red and you've got black, and then you've got 1, green, 0. I think it's 0. Every once in a while, the roulette table lands on 0 and you lose everything. Okay? That is where we are. Now then, I don't know why we have the Sol Bitcoin chart up first. That shouldn't be the Sol Bitcoin chart. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Everything is losing against Bitcoin. Solana, good example there. Solana was in this beautiful range, and then December it broke down. We have bounced. But lots of charts I'm going to show you today, are going to look like this, where they have found the bottom. One of the interesting ones I want to show you is this, if it actually comes up. Because I drew a chart on this. Okay, there we go. Right. So if we go to the weekly chart, this is, for those interested, this is the Canadian, let's bring it down so it's on the right line. Okay. This is the Canadian versus US dollar chart. So this is the strength of the Canadian dollar against the actual dollar. Now, what you're going to find here is that 2016, 2020, and 2025. Look where the Canadian dollar has come down to against the American dollar. Okay? Now, Donald Trump has been in power for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. He is not responsible for that. Okay? That happened on Biden's watch. So Canada has been losing against the dollar for some time. And it appears in the last 10 years to have been cyclical. It goes up, it goes down over a period of a very long time. If we zoom in a little bit more to spread it out, you will see. So the trade war that everybody is talking about wrecking the Canadian dollar, it's not really. It's just carrying along on its merry little way, on its little cycle. And at some point in the future, it's going to do that. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but it will do it sometime. And the reason is, for those of you that watch, every Monday we have the DXY, the dollar strength. Now, all of this has to be taken with a pinch of salt, because I drew what I said was going to be the top, and what I wanted to happen, I wanted the US dollar to come down here. That's where I wanted us to go. Trump has started a trade war, and the strength of the US dollar is now moving back to the upside. So what we need to make a look out for is this 110, because if this breaks, which it's more than likely going to do, then we are looking a lot further up, maybe 114. Okay, why is the dollar so strong? Because Trump and his tariff wars make the dollar stronger against lots of other currencies. The euro, the pound, the Canadian dollar, I imagine is excuse me, is in there. So again, this U-turn, this is wholly on Trump. This move to the upside. If we had Sleepy Joe, or even Kamala, we'd be doing that by now. But Trump is causing the upturn. And again, who can blame him? Now, finally, this is the one that we have been watching for a very long time. And this, put that back in there. This is the Bitcoin dominance chart. The last chart we're going to look at. We've been trekking this and trekking this. And somebody in our Telegram group asked me, last week, where is Bitcoin dominance going to get to? And I said between 60.5 and 61. 60.5 and 61. That was the range that we hit back here. That's where I expected us to get here. And we have smashed the back doors in. 61.76. Now, we did get as high, which is unbelievable. We got as high as 64% plus. It was a wick and a half, okay? Why is Bitcoin dominance going up if the price of Bitcoin is going down? Because all of the alts are losing value faster than Bitcoin is losing value. So if Bitcoin, as we've just seen, is down 4%, Ethereum is down 16%. So Ethereum has lost, percentage-wise, 4 times as much as Bitcoin. That makes Bitcoin more valuable, okay? It's a falling sword that's falling slower than everything else. We've shown you the losers of the last 24 hours, the meme coins, the AI projects. They're all down 20-25%. Bitcoin is down 4%. So that's why Bitcoin dominance will absolutely skyrocket. Now, this isn't over. We're going to look at the Bitcoin chart in a minute, but this is not over. Far from it. We're going to see a lot more pain potentially in the next couple of weeks. But the Bitcoin dominance chart has broken. It's broken the 61%. It's now up at nearly 62%. There's nothing stopping it moving up any further. So that's the XY done. Bitcoin dominance done. The Sol chart and liquidation chart. We don't need to look at the Ethereum chart. We should really probably talk about tariffs, because that's where we are. Now, there's 3 things you need to bear in mind when we look at what's happening. Let's have a look. Okay, so Canada, China, and Mexico respond to the US tariff threats with retaliatory measures. Now, there's not just these, there's also the EU. But if we focus on these for a minute, everybody seems to think it's one thing, which is Trump is saying that we import more than we export to these countries. There's a trade imbalance. We need to address that. Okay, that's what people are giving you as the headline. That is not wholly true. Mexico on the south, Canada on the north. The three things that are bothering Trump right now: immigration, trade deficits, and the third one I can't mention that begins with F is something that is causing a lot of damage to the health of a lot of Americans. Those are the three things. And Canada, Mexico, and China are all guilty of all three things. Now, obviously, the trade war is a mask for it. But if you actually listen to what he has to say and not just read the headline, if you listen to him talk, he will tell you the three things that he wants. But they're omitting these three things. Now, if Canada closes the border tomorrow, it stops two of the three problems. Then the trade tariffs will be considered, because Trump is reactionary, yes, but he's not a stupid man. He also works very quickly, and he will work towards these tariffs and coming to a compromise with Canada. Certainly Canada first, maybe then Mexico second. China is too big a dog to take on. And you're going to read, Canada is going to fight back and Mexico is going to fight back. I mean, come on. Canada is 1/20th, 1/25th of the US economy. Mexico isn't even that. It's like two little chihuahuas trying to take on a lion. It's not going to happen, okay? They are probably going to end this thinking that they've won and go back to the Canadians, the Mexicans, with some kind of spin that they've defeated Trump. Trump is going to sit there knowing that he's done the one thing or the three things that he wanted to do. Whether you agree with him or not, he's doing what he promised. He told us all of this before he got elected. Don't let this be a surprise. Now, what is a surprise is the reaction of the markets, because we've seen Canadian traders saying that they're going to try and short American stocks. We've seen Canadians saying that they're going to impose their own tax. Come on, it's not going to make that much difference. Trump wants something which I think is wholly reasonable. Canadians should see it as wholly reasonable if they were told the truth. And Mexicans, I think we just need to move on. It's a trade war, but you need to read the subtitle, okay? It's not just a trade war. So those are three reasons are why we're down in crypto. And if you think this is bad, wait for the stock market to open in 4.5 hours time. There's going to be an awful lot of blood on the streets. And again, you see these types of headlines. Okay? That headline was not the case 72 hours ago. The EU on Friday said that they would not stand for tariffs placed on European goods. Less than 24 hours later, they are now talking about opening discussions with America. Let's not pretend, shall we, that Mexico, the EU, and Canada haven't been running at a trade surplus against America for however many years. Let's not forget that. The epidemic that they've got in America, that hasn't happened in America. That's come from outside. So let's not beat around the bush here and pretend that the Mexicans, the Canadians, and the Europeans are whiter than white and saints, because they're absolutely not. America's not had a great president for the last 4 years, a very passive president. So again, when Trump comes in, it's a bit of a shock to the system. But once that shock's absorbed, once everybody gets back around the table and starts to negotiate, everything will be rosy. The same with the Eastern European issue. That's going to be resolved probably before the summer. Let's not catastrophize a situation that we're in when we know. Are the fundamental rules of crypto broken? No. Are we having this conversation about the crypto cycle being over. Are we having this conversation in November or even June? No, we're not. We're having it in the beginning of February. And I've shown, especially the OGs, I've shown the chart showing that we have this type of correction at the end of January before the next leg up in February. And the question now is, with these trade tariffs, is that going to be pushed forward to the end of March? Not now. That's what we've got to look at in a minute. Now, we've got the Canadian chart here. We're not going to look at that. We don't need to look at that. We need to move on and talk about Bitcoin then, because now you know why we are where we are. The next question is, where are we going to go from here? And again, I just want to remind you, before we look at the Bitcoin chart, we're at $95,000. The all-time high, 106, 107. That's $10,000, $11,000 away. We're at $95,000. It's a 10% move. We are not at $50,000, $60,000. We are nowhere near there. So the panic that you're seeing are we in a worse situation than we were in June 2023 when Bitcoin was at $15,000, $16,000? No, we are not. But the sentiment on crypto Twitter is ridiculous. Anyone would think that we've broken structure and we've completely broken down. We haven't done that yet. If we do that, then we can reassess where we are. So Bitcoin drops below $100,000 as market weakness grows. There is a nice picture of a red background with the Bitcoin logo in red, looking very bearish and reddish. The leading crypto is now at 99.6. This is how fast the markets move. I think we went down as low as 90 and a half. We'll have a look at it in a minute. Trading volumes declined, which is fine. It was a weekend. The market cap fell below 2 trillion. Again, we've seen that a minute ago. The crypto market is facing losses. Total market capitalization down 4%. Bitcoin came down to 3,100. Again, what are we at? A lot lower than that now. We don't want to talk about individual tokens, but AI tokens and meme tokens, they are the most speculative. They're going to take the most hammering. But, of course, in the uptrend, expect AI tokens to do incredibly well. I don't think that they are gone. People are calling them dead. Some of the newer ones, which don't have big market caps, they are just rebranded ChatGPTs. Some of the bigger projects are a little bit more than that. So Bitcoin is down below 100,000. Should we go and have a look at the Bitcoin chart? I'm worried we're going to run out of time. It's 25 past 11. Let's have a look at the chart. And again, if you're an OG, you will have seen some of the videos that we have made in the last few weeks. And traditionally, we move to the upside in February. That's where we go. We go up in Feb. Now, again, let's wait for this to load. So let's just zoom out for a second. Okay. This is where we are on the daily. Okay. This is where we are. This range here, which we've said before, we entered on the 21st of November. 11th of November, around then. And what have we done since we got up there? We have pretty much been in this kind of range. Okay, now, the bad news is, where could we possibly go at 3:30 today when the markets open in America? We can go to $87,500. So if we're going to mark off Max Pain, that's not Max Pain. That area there is the first stop, okay? And that's between about 85 and 87. So 85 to $87,000, that's the first area of Max Pain. Where could we go to after that? Well, we don't need that up there for a while. So let's look down here at previous price action. That's coming in at $69,000, which is previous all-time high, okay? Now, I'm not saying we're going to come all the way down here. I'm trying to give you some zones we could go to. It's not the end of the world, but we could come down to 70,000. And that would be a big drop. But we talk about 30% drops in crypto, okay? 30% drops in crypto from the top would take us to $76,000. So we have the bull market support band. That's the first area that I've put a circle around. That's where I think if we come down today, we will break. The range above that, which you haven't mentioned, I do apologize, is $92,000. 92.4, okay? So 92.4 and 87, I'm fairly happy, okay? We have a 30% drop, or we've had 30% drops. That would take us to about 76,000, okay? I don't think we're going to see this area. Okay, I don't think we're going to come down here. But I also don't think that this is over. The stock market, remember, opens at 8:30 on a Monday morning. The tariff war began Sunday. So crypto took a kicking over the weekend. Then the markets are going to open. We could see massive outflows from BlackRock and the ETFs today. And if that happens, we go to the bull market support band. Now, what I would like to see also is this. We have got around about there is the next FOMC meeting where they may look to cut and stop tightening and look to start QE again, which is basically the money printer. Now, we've got 6 weeks to hold on. And of course, they can start the QE now. Of course, they can do all of these things. But if they don't, and the tariff wars continue, it gives Bitcoin a chance to move down. Now, one thing I can't mention on here is the Wintermute and the exchanges that are dealing with Wintermute. And there is some accusations that there is market manipulation going on. Even Crypto and people like that, they're tweeting about it. Now, because it involves 2 other exchanges, I can't mention their names. So I'm not going to. But there is several accusations of market manipulation. Now, why is that important? Because market makers, market movers, they look to exploit markets, and they will use things as an excuse to move the market. So the tariff wars, at the end of the day, are not going to make a massive difference to the economy of the world. They're not, okay? Because they are not going... America hasn't stopped Chinese imports. It hasn't stopped Canadian imports and Mexican imports. It's imposing probably very short-term tariffs. And we know the EU and Mexico and Canada are all going to be sitting down with Trump this week. So it could be gone and dusted by the end of this week. But if it isn't, and this turns into a war of attrition, then I see nothing holding Bitcoin up. Because Bitcoin doesn't need an excuse to go up. It's going down, that's the problem. So we have trade wars and market manipulation, which you can't talk about. And we have a long time to wait for the next FOMC meeting. We've got 6 weeks to wait. So all in all, we don't have a great run at the minute. Even if the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve was announced tomorrow, it's not going to save Bitcoin. So at the minute, unless the narrative changes, we would want to see Bitcoin hold that range. That's what we want to see, which is the 80s to 95 range, or actually maybe 98, 85 to 98. We want it to hold that range because we don't want to see it capitulate to the downside. Now that's Bitcoin. It's above its bull market support band. It's all still bullish. And yes, we have to wait another few hours to see what's going to happen. And yes, I'm expecting more blood in the streets because of Bitcoin. But the one, you could call it the more depressive move has been Ethereum. Now, the issue for Ethereum is that I think it's now back in this range here for now, which is between 21.6 and 27. Okay, we're back in this range here. We are below the bull market support band. Okay, there are saving graces, of course. The RSI, we're oversold on everything, but Ethereum is lagging. And again, the narrative behind Ethereum has been so negative for a couple of months that you don't know whether, again, market manipulation, if you want to buy something cheaper, you bash it so people sell. World Liberty Finance is buying Ethereum. The ETFs, the Ethereum ETFs had their best week ever, I think, last week or the week before. So the institutions are buying. There are people buying with the intent of knowing that Ethereum is going to go a lot higher. I'm not going to remove this target up here because I still think $4,500 by the end of February is easily doable. But the trade war has to finish. Now, again, I'm not too concerned as long as we hold 21.50, 21.60, okay? Because even when we've had previous bad jolts, we've wicked down here. You go back to before the pump, way before the pump, this is end of 2023. This has been a really solid line of support, 21.50. Now that is 15% lower. So if Bitcoin loses another 3 or 4% today, comes down to, what's that, 90,000. So Bitcoin comes to 90,000 again, we could see a 21.50 Ethereum and still hold that as support. We don't need to worry, really, until we really start to break down towards this area here, which is coming in about $1,900. And they might sound like scary stories, but just look at how fast markets move, okay? We go up as fast as we go down. It's not a case of, well, it's going to take us 2 years to recover from this. That move up there is probably going to be as fast as when this move down is. So we move up as fast as we move down, and the narrative can change, okay? Am I worried? No. Am I worried about the price of Bitcoin and Ethereum? No, because I'm not selling now. If Bitcoin went to $1, I would buy everything I had in my possession I would use to buy Bitcoin. It's not going to go to $1. It may very well dip to the 80s today. It may very well. In fact, I'd probably put a wager on us breaking 90,000 today and going down to the 80s, maybe 85, 87, because of the sentiment in the market. But it doesn't mean it can't recover. If by Tuesday, Wednesday this week, the trade wars are finished, Ethereum, Bitcoin, Solana, they are going to bounce. Let's not overly worry. Now, before we move on, just remember, this is where Ethereum is compared to its bull market support band. It's below. We're going to go and look at Solana next. And again, Solana and Bitcoin are doing a lot better than Ethereum right now. Ethereum, nada bueno. Okay, so outspoken critic slams Ethereum's leadership as dictatorial, says Solana is eating it for lunch. Now, I have said, excuse me, I have said for a couple of months now, Vitalik is the problem. Vitalik is the problem. Forget this word here. He should not be the front face of Ethereum. He is the builder. He is the guy that builds the house, but he shouldn't be the person that goes out to sell the house or the hotel rooms. He's the person that makes sure that the next iteration of Ethereum is better than the last. And he plans the future of Ethereum. That should be Vitalik's role, because that is where we got to with Vitalik. But there comes a time in every company or institution where you have to hand over the reins. And we've said, Anatoly, the CEO of Solana, you barely see him. It's Meow, number one. A few other degens and shillfluencers, number two. But we have Charles has handed over the reins of Cardano. Bitcoin doesn't have a CEO per se. It's got people like Michael Saylor, but they're not directly attached to the project. Ethereum is the second largest project, and we have Vitalik talking like he is the captain of the ship. And we need, or we don't need, but people need to have a conversation about it. ETH is governed in a dictatorial fashion from the top down by developers who live in ivory towers and are disconnected from the realities of competitive markets, driving ETH into the ground. Now, again, let's forget that last sentence, because that's just way too dramatic for a Monday morning when the markets are crashing. It's not going to drive Ethereum into the ground, because Ethereum is going to be taken over by the men in suits. Don't forget, if Donald Trump and Larry Fink and the men in suits want something, they tend to get it. Ethereum is going to be the blockchain that they want to use. And because of that, it's never going to die, and Vitalik will be gone. Okay? There were many reasons that Vitalik needs to step to one side. He's making himself a target for the likes of BlackRock and Cathie Wood at ARK Invest and Van Eck and all of those others. He's making a target on his head for those institutions to start going after him. They own the media. They can run as much bad press on him as they want. But Solana is just getting on with it. Okay? There's no internal conflict with Solana. The conflict with Solana is coming from the other chains, the likes of the Cardano maxis bashing Solana, the ETH maxis bashing Solana, but they're from the outside. It's actually quite a tight house in there. So Solana is doing quite well, but it doesn't have the issues that Ethereum has got. Ethereum has got the issues of naivety and Vitalik not putting in place the people. The one thing Charles did was he got Cardano to the point where it could be handed over, and he handed it over. There's going to be teething problems. Of course there is. But there's going to be teething problems when you hand over Ethereum, because people have vested interests. Look at America, it's gone pro-crypto. We have teething problems now with Brad Garlinghouse trying to get XRP on the strategic reserve. Everything has teething problems, but they're not the end of anything. Everything is so final these days in the media. Vitalik needs to go walk off to a room with the developers and build Ethereum into the best layer one in the universe. That's what he needs to do. He doesn't need to be vesting or investing his time in a power struggle. And you can see it in the chart. You can see Ethereum is struggling compared to Bitcoin. And it's not all down to Vitalik, but the negative press that comes with Vitalik is weighing it down. Now, Solana, on the other hand, okay, I haven't looked at this chart since the crash, by the way. I could be wrong. Solana, on the other hand, is coming in again. Why do I always talk about the bull market support band? Okay? Because it's visually the most useful tool to show you the state of a coin. Okay? Now, we do have way more expert people in chat than me who know about these things. But it's like a trampoline, and it also acts like a safety net. You jump out of that window from the burning building and you want a safety net to land on. And that's the bull market support band. Look at where Ethereum is right now. It's at the bull market support band. Now, there is another line on this chart, which is $183. Okay? That is only another 10% down from where we are now. So it's not a massive leg down. That's the next target for me. If we have another bit of a crash today, $183 would be my my next line down. Now, we did come down to 176, but we wicked down. I'm talking about a candle down. I think we could candle down to 183, maybe wick lower, I don't know. That's been really solid support since when? Since December, okay? Now we can go over, again, we can go over here if we want. We can highlight these areas here where it's acted as resistance in the past, and now it's acting as support. So we know about this number. This number is programmed in for Solana, but like Bitcoin, but not quite as well as Bitcoin because we're still not out of the cycle. Bitcoin is way above its bull market support band. Ethereum is way below. Solana is at it, okay? And it may hold. The tariffs may be over today or tomorrow, and then we shoot back up. And if we shoot back up, we'll go to 215 probably, somewhere around then. We'll have a few wicks up. Again, the RSIs are oversold. We are oversold. We should see a dead cat bounce at least, but we've got the markets to open in America yet, and that could push us further to the downside. So Solana for me is holding up better than Ethereum, which for an altcoin at this moment in time is pretty good. So I'm fairly happy with where Solana is, fairly happy with where Bitcoin is. Bit of a worry about Ethereum, but not too much. We've got a 15% move down that could be next. All the end. Hi, Michael. As long as previous month's low hold at 89K, I think we go for new all-time highs. One thing, again, that KB, it's important to understand. If you want to see a $200,000 Bitcoin, we need to see that, okay? And KB highlights it really well. For us to see, so if you look at, if you go, let's take Solana for example, right? So let's say I said to you, we need to go to $600, okay? That's where we need to go on Solana. Look at where we are. We're nowhere near it. For us to get there, if you're on a trampoline, how do you bounce higher? You do this. That is how you bounce on a trampoline, okay? If you look at any chart for crypto, you never see a chart that does that, okay? You always see the memes as well. You know, the line is what people think your crypto portfolio is, and then this one here is where, you know, your actual crypto is. You're down 30-40% today because the market is volatile, because you're in a brand new industry. You're in a brand new market. Go back, do some research. Go and look at Tesla. Go and look at Amazon stock. Go and look at Apple stock. Go back in time and see how volatile they were. I said this quite a few times. I watched Tesla. I watched that Tesla stock because it flashed up. 8% up, 6% down, 12% up, 15% down. It did that for weeks and weeks and weeks. It still goes on in certain markets. If you look at the gold and diamond market, mining stocks, that price moves massively, and they're huge billion-dollar companies. So crypto is not about one day, Johnny bought one Bitcoin. The next day, Johnny woke up and had $250,000 in his back pocket. You're going to get to the end of this bull run, and you're going to look like Tyson Fury after he's done 12 rounds with Mike Tyson in his prime, okay? You're going to have a bloody nose, you're going to have a black eye, you're going to have scratches on your head, you're going to have cracked ribs, your hip's gone, you've cracked your ankle, right? You've broken some toes, and you're missing a finger. That's what you're going to feel like by the end of this bull run. And if you don't, you are a stronger person than I am. Because this is not for the weak-hearted. It's not for the faint-hearted. But you have to take emotion out of what you're doing. Emotion is good for family life, watching sad films, watching Watership Down. It's great. Emotion is no good for crypto. If anything, you should flip your emotion and you should say, have I got cash on the sides? Yes. Right, at 3:30, 4:30 and 5:30 today, I'm going to see where Bitcoin goes, and I'm going to listen to the news. And if the news is that the negotiation starts on Wednesday, you know you've got today and tomorrow to buy your bags of Bitcoin. So anything like this should be excitement, not fear. Why are you scared about the price of Solana if the all-time high is May or November? Why do you care on February the 3rd? Why? You're not selling it. You're living in your house, beautiful house, and it's worth $100,000. And you're going to retire in 5 years' time and sell your house and move to the beach to live next to Tariq. Okay? Tariq and his army of Teslas. And then the following week, there's a house price crash and your $100,000 house is worth $60,000. But you haven't got a mortgage, you don't care. So your house is worth $60,000, but you're not selling it for 5 years. So who cares if it's $60,000? Because probably over the next 4 years, it's going to recover its value and you'll be able to sell it for what you want to sell it for. Crypto markets, they are volatile in both directions, and you see it. Our viewing figures go through the floor when people panic. Nobody watches us when the price goes down, and everybody watches us when the price goes up. There is not one single person in chat asking me what crypto you should buy. There's not one person asking me what crypto is good to buy today. Not one. If we go to $115,000 in 3 or 4 weeks' time, I will have 1 or 2 people per stream saying, what should I buy? Should I buy? What meme coin should I buy? What real world asset coin should I buy? You want to buy in the good times and you want to sell in the bad times, but that's the wrong way. That is the most ridiculous thing to do. Would you go to your favorite restaurant in rush hour where you're going to have to wait an hour and a half to get fed and it's going to be a nightmare because the kids are crying and you don't know what to do? Or do you say to your wife, you know what, it's a Thursday evening, our favorite restaurant is quiet, let's go when it's quiet, okay? This is a quiet restaurant right now. Everybody's gone. Buy what you want to buy. Buy your Bitcoin, buy your Solana, buy your Ethereum, buy it now. Buy it tomorrow, buy it the day after. See how long it takes the markets to recover. And then you know what? If you've put $100 in and you've now got $200 because you caught the bottom, sell it and then take that $100 profit and spend it. Treat yourself, okay? You sit there thinking you're Warren Buffett because Bitcoin's at $120,000 and you bought it at $20,000. You're 6x up, but you're not because you never sold, okay? So make a profit on this dip and sell that profit, sell that coin that you bought, the $100 worth of Solana or Ethereum, whatever it might be, sell it and go and buy yourself some food, okay? Go and buy yourself some food and some sweet tea and go and sit in a park and realize that what you're eating, you've paid for with other people's fear, okay? Because that's how you win at this game. You don't win by selling at the first drop. Now, the favorite coin of the month of January for me was, of course, Doge. I can't stand it. I don't like it. I think it's trash. I see all these people defending it on crypto Twitter, talking about the number of nodes it has, talking about how decentralized it is. I don't care. I do not care one bit about this coin. Okay? Now, something really weird happened on Friday. Grayscale applied for a trust. And then they immediately applied to convert this trust to an ETF. We've mentioned before that Litecoin is very likely to be approved very quickly for an ETF because it is a proof of work. It's a fork of Bitcoin very long time ago. Doge is the same thing, okay? I really don't like Doge, but it's at 25 cents. Lots of you like it, so I have to talk about everything, stuff that I don't like as well. And I said this last week. It's going to get an ETF, okay? There's probably nothing stopping it getting an ETF now. Gary's gone. It's going to get an ETF. People are going to buy it. And Doge at 50 billion, could very easily go to 200-300 billion in the bull run, okay? And I don't want to say that because that means it's at $1, and I don't want it to go to $1 because I think it is a I think there are better projects out there that deserve that higher market cap, but you don't get what you deserve. You get what has the eyes on. If Doge is on all of these apps like Robinhood and Revolut and everything else, when retail come back, which at some point hopefully they do, they're going to see Doge and they're going to buy it, and they're going to know nothing about it. And that flood of retail is going to come into Doge. And I want SHIB to do better, and Pepe to do better, and Bonk to do better. But I don't get what I always want. And I think Doge with an ETF is going to absolutely rip. It's going to rip easily 50, 60, 70 cents, probably going to $1. If we come down to 15 cents today, 20 cents today on Doge, and you like Doge, there's no reason for you not to buy it. I'm not going to buy it because I can't stand it. I hate it. With every fiber of my being, I hate Doge. It shouldn't be there. It is like the imposter. So you have your Liverpool lineup. They're going to go and play the European Cup final against Real Madrid, and some clown with a potbelly runs on in a Liverpool kit and poses in the photo shoot of the final. That fat lad with the beard and the moustache and everything else, that's Doge. It shouldn't be there. Shouldn't even be on the bench. He doesn't even play for Liverpool. And yet here we are talking about it yet again. Okay? So we're going to get the ETF on Doge. I don't think it's going to beat the ETF for Litecoin. I think that's going to win. Then it's going to be Doge now by the looks of it, because there's not as much pushback on it. I do think XRP and Solana are also coming this year. So maybe we have 4 ETFs this year. Maybe we only have those 4. Maybe we have a couple more. I know they're applying for the AVAX ETF as well. There's a few others going in. But Grayscale is an interesting one because nobody talks about them in the same light that people talk about the BlackRocks, because all Grayscale has done for the last year is dump on the market. It dumped Bitcoin. It dumped Ethereum. It will dump Solana when the Solana ETF goes live. People just sell it and then buy into a different ETF because the fees for Grayscale are a lot higher than they are for others. Right then, now we are going to take a moment away from the panics. I've been out of the market for 2 months. This drop has me interested again, says Eugene. Fantastic. That is good to see. Oh, we have a question of the day, by the way. Question of the day. Are you worried? 88% of you have said no. Well, that is brilliant news. I'm glad you're not worried, because you shouldn't be. Is there a fundamental problem with the market? No, there isn't. Is there a macroeconomic event going on right now to cause the markets to do this? Yes. Okay, so it's not crypto, it's the market. That is all you need to know. The stock market is going to crash today. Why has the stock market crashed? Because of the news. Because of Trump's tariffs. That's what's causing the problem. If there was a fundamental structural problem with the crypto industry, let's say quantum computing comes along and starts to crack Polkadot, or it cracks one of the other coins, Ethereum Classic. Let's say that happens, and then you get contagion. Well, if it can do it to this, it can do it to that. That's a crypto problem, and that would cause crypto to absolutely tank. Yes, this isn't. This is at a higher level. Don't worry about it. We had the same with COVID. COVID caused a massive correction in all the markets. That was a macro environmental effect. So DeFi in 2025 promises smart accounts and AI-driven trading evolution. Now this is the bit that I am interested in. Basically, we have what's the equivalent of a dumb terminal right now. You have your wallets, and your wallets do nothing, okay? You log in, you paste the wrong address in, you press send, the money's gone forever, okay? It's gone for. AI trading, okay? It's faster than you can do it. It's more intelligent. It can be tuned. You can set it to, you could say, right, I only want you to trade Ondo, trade in Ondo. I want you to buy when the RSI is here, sell where the RSI is here, or even go after the fear and greed index. When greed is at 80, sell. when fear is when it's gone down to fear and it's at 30, buy. You can do all of those things, right? We're not at that stage just yet, but this is what's coming. Chain abstraction, smart account adoption, it's coming. And this, you're going to look back in 2 or 3 years' time and laugh at the type of hot wallet that you were using and the scams where you're connecting to these websites and they're getting, you're getting drained or whatever. It's all going to hopefully in the future change. Smart contracts are getting better. The trading bots are getting better. All of those things are coming to you and you just don't need to worry about it. Right then, I've just realized we don't have a lot of time and I have run out of time. So 20% of Ethereum users will rely on EIP 7702 enable smart contracts. Great news. Half of all DeFi users will navigate multiple blockchains from a single unified interface. We talked about this on Friday. I said Dupe are building DupeNet, which is going to be an all-in-one platform where you can trade coins across different blockchains. And again, that already exists. The exchange you're on now already exists, but it doesn't really work too well in DeFi. It doesn't work too well with Phantom or any of the other wallets. So this is coming. Now, again, why is this good? A perfect example was I couldn't buy Mantra. I couldn't buy it. It wasn't on the exchanges where I've got my cash. I couldn't buy OM. I didn't buy OM. I missed out on OM. Okay. Why did I miss out on OM? Because I couldn't buy it. So OM was a problem for me. And this will hopefully fix it. AI-driven agents will execute 20% of all on-chain DeFi trading volume. Again, this is coming. I'm not saying you should go out and get an AI trading bot. And certainly don't go into Google and look for them because they're all scams. But you're going to see wallets and dexes that are maybe going to have built-in AI agents that you can configure to what you want. And the trick is not to try and beat the market. It's just try and replicate what you would do in the market. That's the key. And global financial institutions will integrate stablecoin-based cross-border settlements. Again, we know all about this. 10% of overall DeFi liquidity will flow seamlessly across 3 or more ecosystems with ZK interoperability. Yes, of course it will. We know about this. We know Chainlink. We know Polkadot and things like that. It's all going to happen. It's all going to happen. Right. Alts are dying is the last article. So we did make it to the end. Let's very quickly look at this. And then we are going to head off. Good morning, Kang. I hope you are well. Too many altcoins. Y Capital is drying up for small tokens. Again, we talked about this at the very beginning of the show. And we were talking about when are there too many coins? Where are there too many NFTs? Was one of the things we started on. When are there too many meme coins? And this is when are there too many coins in general. We're getting to the point where unless you've got eyes on your project is going to fail. And that's very similar to real life. If you've got a restaurant down a side street and you don't advertise it and no one knows it's there, no one's going to go to your restaurant. When you have a meme coin backed by a celebrity or a person of power, that is going to do incredibly well. And the reason it's going to do incredibly well is simply because they can get eyes on that project. And I don't necessarily like this direction, but the other direction to bear in mind is if we have so many projects, how are we going to have a blow off top for the altcoin market? If you've got some of the top 10 or 20 coins, they are still all going to do incredibly well in the bull run. But if you've got some coins ranked 50 to 150, they're all vying for the eyes of everybody else. And how do they get their eyes on their project? And that's the question is, are we going to have an alt season where a select number of alts absolutely rip and the rest die? That is on the cards. Are there too many altcoins? I think I would argue that there are maybe too many coins being created, but you can't stop that. I think what we need to do is ignore the Solana coins, ignore the BSC coins, and I think what we need to do is move to a place where, let's get rid of that. We need to move to a place where we have real projects making real money being highlighted in the media, so real people can get their hands on those coins. That's where we need to move to. Anyway, I didn't realize the time. It's 12:05. You've all been wonderful. Either do one or two things. Get ready to buy the dip, which is coming in a few hours. And if you do buy the dip, set a dollar cost average in for that dip. Maybe do it today, tomorrow, day after, day after. Maybe do it for the rest of the week. So if you've got $100 to put into the market, do $20 a day for the next 5 days. That's what I would do. You're probably going to catch the bottom at some point across those 5 days. And if it pumps, you turn your dollar cost average off. That is all I've got to say. I am back tomorrow. But tonight, the Oracle is back. The Oracle called 92.2, KB also called 92.2. So they were right. I said we weren't going to go below 98 unless something dramatic happened. And something dramatic happened. So there we go. So take care, everybody. I'll see you in the morning. The Oracle is back in 9 hours' time. Tune in tonight in 9 hours to see the Oracle talk about crypto. Have a lovely day. Stay calm. Chill.